Okay, we are going to be a couple minutes early. A couple minutes in the way of a pre-game show today. Just a couple minutes, about 3 minutes early it looks like. And let me see if I can pull this up on the iPad Pro so I can just make sure we got audio. And let's see. Okay. Sounds like we do. Sounds like we have audio. And Stig is in the house. He's the first one in the house, at least the first one to show himself. We've got 5 folks watching, 1 in the chat. And we're going to have a really big show. This is part 2. And today's an all Brooks Brothers show. I'm wearing a Brooks Brothers shirt, the vest from my 3-piece Brooks Brothers suit that I wore yesterday, and a Brooks Brothers tie. So all Brooks Brothers today. That's how we're doing it today. And Brooks Brothers from the old days when the stuff was high quality and made right and all of those kind of good things. This shirt was made in the United States of America, as was this tie, as was this waistcoat. So there you go. The old days when we made high quality items here in the United States of America. And this is part 2. David's in the house, by the way. David's in the house. And David, I didn't answer your question about selling my 005 Stunner. Dave asked about that in an email earlier. And so here's the thing. I've mentioned a couple of times that if a subscriber made a reasonable offer, I would probably let the 005 go, but I'm not making any efforts to sell it. It's not listed for sale anywhere. I haven't listed it in any of the forums. I haven't listed it on Facebook. I haven't listed it anywhere. So I doubt it will sell. But if a subscriber does want it, then I would let it go. It's not, it's not a lot of money that we're talking about, so it's not the end of the world to keep it around as a backup piece, as a travel piece, or otherwise just an interesting piece to have around. And I really like that watch. So not super motivated to let it go, but I would to a subscriber. So I hope that clarifies that situation. Continuation from yesterday on the $1,000 watch. Okay, a decent, solid watch of a substantial pedigree. What can you get for $1,000? And let me pull up eBay here again on my computer, because there's a bunch of them. And I would, David says, taking the same approach for mine. There you go. Absolutely. And also, excuse me. I got to drink something. Also, the 005 is a watch that you could kind of like fall in and out of love with. You kind of like, oh wow, when you first get it, it's amazing, and then maybe you take it for granted for a little while, and then maybe you wear it again and you're like, wow, this really is amazing, type of thing. And so it might be that kind of a situation where Dave is just kind of like becoming complacent a little bit with it. And so there's that. Now it is a little bit humid here in Maryland. I'm taking this waistcoat off. I don't need this. It is too warm. So give me a second. I probably should splurge and put the air conditioning on because it's a little bit humid. It's only about 70 degrees in here. That's what the thermostat says, but it's a humid, nasty 70 degrees, if that makes any sense. So let's see, and I've got these lights on me, of course, which don't help. Let's see, and Carlos says at a TRI, I'm making a gunpla, whatever that is. Whatever that is. Okay. All right, so let's do another search here. I'm going to search Grand Seiko, and I'll let you see what I'm searching here. Grand Seiko 9F. That's all I'm going to search. And then we'll see what comes up. And of course, there's some that come up that are higher price, right? Now, here's one. This is very interesting. Here's one that is, about $1,500 that has the new dial, has the Grand Seiko at the top. There's actually two of them right there. So that's very interesting. If somebody wanted to step up and spend a little bit more, let's open this one in a new window just so we can take a look at it. Just so we can take a quick look here. It's interesting that bracelet doesn't look like it fits to the case properly there. That's interesting. See that? I don't know if that's an optical illusion or if there's something wrong with that bracelet. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's fitting correctly there. Interesting. And it looks like it might be a small one. Let's see what size this is. See what size it is. Oh, it says 37 mil, so it's not terribly small. Okay, so anyway, we got that one. Okay, and let's see what else we've got here. This is one I think we looked at yesterday. I'm going to loosen my tie too. I'm going to get comfortable here on this Sunday. Okay, so I think we looked at that one yesterday. Let's keep going here. There's that cool diver with the blue dial. That's cool. But up higher than the price range we want to look at. And I think we looked at this one for $933 yesterday. I'm pretty sure we looked at that one. And I didn't look at the one with the foreign day of the week. But that looks like that has a rice bracelet. So let's look at that. Let's open this actually in a new tab. That's what I should have done before. Okay, so let's look at this rice. I think this has the rice bracelet on it, which I really like. So let's take a look at this piece. Those scratches could easily be polished off of the bezel. Yeah, it's got the cool bracelet. Yeah, it's got some dings on the case, but you got to expect that with a watch that's been worn and used. And those bracelets are designed to be real flexible, so that's not a real downside. It looks pretty good. So let's see what the size is on this puppy. Let's see what the size is on this puppy. 36 mil. 36 mil. 20 mil lug width, which is good. So that's going to have a decent wrist presence for an all-arounder. All right, so let's see what else we've got here. Bunch of them if you want to go up to like $1,600. I mean, here's one. Well, we won't look at that right now, but oh, here's one with crown guards. That's interesting. Let's open that just for fun. Just to look at in a minute here. See what we got. That looks like a lady's there. Not sure, but now here's, oh, that's significantly more money, but that's got the new dial and everything. Another one with the new dial. Another one with the new dial, but this one's the new dial and it's $1,500. So that's interesting. And let's take a look at that just for fun. Whoops, I'm sorry. Open link a new tab. We'll take a look at that in a minute. And I think I don't know if we looked, no, we looked at a similar one to that. Okay. All right, that might be enough for now. But you're getting the idea. There are a lot of watches. Not a ton that are under 1,000, but there's a bunch. Okay, all right, so let's go to this first one here. And this one we looked at, okay, already. So let's go back here, okay. Let's take a look here. See, this one's got crown guards on it. I wonder if it had a screw down crown. That would be interesting. Nice case design. I guess that's it for photos. Okay, so, but that one's $1,600. Master Shop Limited Edition. Interesting. I wonder what size that is. 38 mil. Wow. So if somebody wants a bigger watch, that's a 38 mil. That is very interesting. Very, very interesting. And not much more additional information on it. Okay. Very interesting. The plot thickens. Okay, and what do we got here? Oh, and this has got the newer dial, and it is about $1,500. Interesting. Look at the 10, how it looks degraded. I wonder if that's just a function of something wrong with the photograph. My guess is it's the photograph that's screwed up, not the watch. Nice looking case. Nice case design. That would polish out some of those dings, but some of them maybe not, but could probably polish some of that out. Especially on the smooth surfaces, you can polish that out. The brushing, obviously, you can't really fix, but you can. Some of those scratches can be polished off of the smooth surfaces. I've done it. Okay, so there you go. And newer dial, and that's why it's not $2,000, right? Because it's got some wear and tear on it. Of course, you can make an offer, too, and free shipping. So, and this one is 39 mil. 39 mils. So again, it's a bigger watch. So for somebody who wants a bigger watch. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, so let's see what catch up on the comments here. Okay. So, loosen my collar here, get a little more comfortable. I should just take the tie off. That's what I should do, just take the tie off. We'll get rid of the Brooks Brothers tie. Get rid of the Brooks Brothers tie altogether, because this is Sunday afternoon. We can relax and take it easy. All right, fold that like that. Set it down right over yonder there. Okay, so there we go. We're doing the strip tease on the show here. Okay, what else do we have going on? And Triforce Rich was in for the pregame show. And David is okay, same thing. Okay, got that. Kyle's in the house. Hopefully this week sometime we'll have an update from the West Coast. See what's going on. Things are probably starting to jump. Things are probably jumping there. Carlos Woody. Okay. Kevin says, save your shekels and buy new. I have a tough time buying secondhand. Kevin in the house. Buying what secondhand? Be specific. A Rolex or a Grand Seiko or what? Carlos in the house. One thing about buying a 9F secondhand is they're so robust that it's less of a risk factor. It's not like you're going to probably have to service that thing anytime soon. But with a Rolex, you could run into a trick bag if it needs to be serviced. Could be a little bit of a trick bag. Triforce Rich, maybe we can get Craig to look them up. Get Craig to buy a model and make it his spare time. I don't know what we're talking about. To buy a what? What were we talking about? I'm falling behind here. Triforce says, by the way, I do not consider that I know much about watches. Then the baseline is not very high. Carlos, your favorite watch is your Date 8, right? I would hope so. I hope so. Eduardo, my friend is looking for a ladies' Rolex. Okay, good move. R. Wags is in the house. He says, Skylejet, since Nevada has the highest unemployment rate nationally, it must still be shut down. Interesting. Let's see here. And Kyle says, ouch. And David's in the house. Actually, restaurants have opened, cannot sit at bar other business opening as well. Barber, salon, dentist, etc. Casinos still shut. Whoa. That's not good. Why in the heck would they have casinos shut down? Let people go lose their money. What the heck? And Kyle's in the house. Great news. Eduardo, she's got a budget of $2,200. Yeah, there's some nice ladies' Rolexes in that price range. The ladies' Rolexes do not command high prices often, and they don't sell very fast because a lot of ladies don't want to buy used. So therefore, the used watches don't sell very well. So yeah, and it's a buyer's market right now. So Eduardo, I would find something really nice and make a lowball offer. Find one where they're asking $3,000 or something that's really nice, and offer them, the $2,200, and you'll probably take it home. And Lance says, hello, Craig and all. David Williams, I believe a lot of Southern California come into this town this weekend and stayed at non-gaming hotels. Okay. Let's see. Lance, how much are they asking for the date just you were looking at? Let's see, Stig. Craig, what sort of tie knot do you use? That was a Windsor. I use a Windsor, which Steve says is for the low class folks, Windsor knot, but that's okay. I'm kind of low class. I'm a man of the people. A man of the people. The working class people. Okay, let's see here. Agree, 9F is virtual no-brainer pre-owned. David Williams in the house. Eduardo, $3,300 for the date just. Carlos, favorite means if I had to take one, if my house is burning, yes, it would be the date 8. There you go. Grab that date 840 and go. Eduardo, Lance, there's a date just in Canada for $3,500, which has already been serviced by Rolex. I'll send you an email. There you go. Casinos open in, I guess that's Idaho, Oklahoma, Arizona. They're not Nevada. Do not understand. There you go. Doll politics. Lance is in the house. I'll take a look at it. What knot does the Stevester use? He probably uses a half Windsor, I would think, or something like that. That's a good question. Ask him next time. Next time he does it, he claims he's going to do a stream this week, but he's been having some technical problems. So we'll see if he's able to resolve those technical issues. I've been streaming every day, so I don't know. He's got the same equipment that I have. I don't understand. Now, I've had to work through some things, but I've still been streaming. So there's that. Let's see. Does it have the fluted bezel and oyster bracelet? Or fluted bezel and oyster bracelet. Well, I wouldn't want the fluted bezel with the oyster bracelet. I'd rather have the smooth bezel with the oyster bracelet. If you go with the fluted bezel, you should get the Jubilee, I think. R. Wags is in the house. Here in Indiana, restaurants are only about 1/3 full because many people are still frightened. The restaurant we eat breakfast this Memorial Day weekend would normally be full less than half. It's a shame. It's a damn shame the way they've frightened people. And they haven't explained, that the vast majority of the people are not at risk from this thing and that they'll be fine. And the media just has not explained that. As a matter of fact, they talk the opposite. They say everybody's going to die from this thing. It's ridiculous. So Kyle's in the house. He says he sent an email. All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the email. Okay, so this is $976. Pull it up here. Kind of neat looking. Oh, that dial's kind of neat. Kind of neat. With a deployant buckle. Oh my gosh, it also comes with a bracelet. And it looks like it's a 5-link bracelet. Wow. That is very interesting. And it's titanium. I wonder if the bracelet is titanium. But it's got 38 bids. Okay, and the reserve is not met. Okay, so yeah, we don't know what it's going to sell for. So I'm not as excited now. Let's see what it says here. Titanium Grand Seiko SBGX 069 crocodile strap deployant bracelet and quartz. Condition is pre-owned. Very, very handsome. Okay, the case is a mixture of polished and brushed titanium, and the bracelet matches. Also included is a gator strap. But see, they're not saying, I wonder if that bracelet's titanium as well. Sure, it matches, yeah, but it can match and still be stainless steel. If that's all titanium, the whole rig, that is pretty interesting. And let's see, where is it? It is in New Jersey. Interesting. Interesting. It'll be interesting to see what that sells for. I'm going to add it to my watch list. Okay, add it to my watch list and keep an eye on that. The lovely Brianna is in the house. Brianna from Bree Fit Dance. Today's push-up day. She should call in and show us how she does her push-ups. And by the way, Bree, I don't like those ones where you do one push-up and you jump up and do all that other stuff. Do your push-ups nice and slow. Do one, right? Do another one. Take your time. Good form, straight back, and these fancy things, I'm not so sure about all that. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. Our Wags is in the house. Chip, you're the hardest working guy on YouTube, broadcasting every day. Thanks for helping us keep our perspective as well as our sanity during this crazy time. There you go. It really isn't that much work to do these live broadcasts. I have to be honest with you. I'm here, and as a matter of fact, I'm pretty lazy sometimes. All I did was I took the previous show and just copied all the information. There's on YouTube, when you set up the live stream, you can copy the previous one, and then I just edit the title. I just put part 2 on there. And so it literally took about 4 seconds to create the event, the live event. And then I go live and I do the show, and then I wrap and I go eat. And so I could put a lot more prep into the shows, and I could spend a lot more time on it, but I don't. I just lock and load and do them. So there you go. But if you made it a big project, then you tend to not do it, right? So it's better not to have it be a big project. Joey's in the house. Everybody should cover their face, wear masks. It's mandatory in New York City. I think everybody should wear a full-on hazmat suit. Full-on hazmat suit. I think that's what they should do. And they should have like a team of people like cleaning their feet and you know, if they walk anywhere and, you know, like cleaning, they should have a whole crew go ahead of them and like clean anything that they're going to touch or anything like that. I think people should take extreme precautions, I am joking, folks. If anybody's listening, I'm joking. I think this whole thing is a total fiasco, a total scam. I think it's no worse than the normal flu. Most people are fine with this thing. Older folks seem to be, you know, very much at risk. Older folks with pre-existing conditions especially. But for the most part, most people are absolutely fine with this thing. That we have been totally scammed. But there's that. David Williams in the house. Deployments are great. And Stig says hello to Lady Brianna. And David Williams says no thanks, re the masks. Triforce Rich says Joey eats propaganda for breakfast. I think sometimes Joey trolls. He can't believe half the things that he says. He really can't. Arwag says, Joey, I think you meant in crowded New York City, but out here in the boondocks, not very many people wearing masks, especially outdoors. Well, yeah, outdoors, my gosh, it would be totally ridiculous to wear one outdoors. Kyle's in the house. It's on my watch list as well. Okay, cool. and Leon's in the house. There is no reason to buy a used Rolex. If you are going to buy a Rolex, then you need to buy new so that your name is on the papers and every scratch on it is made by you, not somebody else. Leon in the house, there you go. Absolutely. I agree with, personally, I would buy a Rolex new. Now, back in the day, I bought some used ones, okay? But at this point in time, I would buy a Rolex new. I would also buy a Grand Seiko new, to tell you the truth. I mean, some of these are deals that we see here, you know, on eBay and so on. That's all well and good, but I would rather buy like those right there and have the box and papers with my name on the paperwork and everything's cool. And, of course, the 002 Stunner here, my name is on the paperwork, and I'm happy with that. So there you go. And somebody asked me about the 002 Stunner. They asked me the model number of it on one of the forums the other day, and I gave them the information. And I didn't hear anything back on whether or not they went out and bought one or not, but they asked me about it. They seemed very intrigued, but it's probably likely that when they looked in on it and found out what the price was, they probably dropped that whole idea, would be my guess. Let's see here. Eduardo says, Lance, sorry, can't find the one I saw, must have sold. Uh-oh. I just looked at the email. The Datejust is very nice, but not the exact one I'm looking for. Thanks for sharing with me, though. Also, how is your new Rolex? It looks really stunning. Yeah, he did good. And Derek is in the house. He says, unmask Joey. And Lance is in the house. Craig sent you a picture of a stunning GMT. Okay, let's see. Let's take a look here at the stunning GMT. Let's do another time check on the channel. We're about 20 minutes into the show. 20 minutes into the live show. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know this piece, and it does look better in person. These drawings that Grand Seiko puts out, or whoever puts them out, they're like renderings, right? That's not even really a picture. This thing does look pretty stunning in person, I will tell you. I will grant you that. It does look pretty stunning in person. It definitely would be an option. If you wanted something a little bit dressier than the 005, then that would be definitely a good plan, if you ask me. Okay, let's see. At Leon, or you can just buy a Safe Queen. Yeah, if you're going to buy, well, for example, if you're going to buy a Rolex Date 8, there it does pay to buy a used one. It pays to buy an 18238 because you can get one for a fraction of what you'd pay for a new Date 8. New Date 8, you're going to have to pay $25,000 plus. You should be able to get a nice 18238 for the $12,000 to $13,000 range. You know, literally half the money. So there's something to be said for that. If you could get yourself, like you said, if you could get a Safe Queen. Breaking, POTUS suspends travel from Brazil due to CV situation. I don't blame him. Greg Allen, Craig, what sort of Omegas, among other high quality items, have you purchased over the years? The only Omega I had was the Seamaster 120, and I have pictures on I have a video here on the channel. Just search keyword Omega, search my channel for Omega, and you'll see probably a video including it. I definitely also have pictures on my, I'll pull one up here. I have pictures on my Flickr. I wore that for a few years, the Omega. And I liked it. It was a very nice watch. It was a quartz. It was a Seamaster 120 quartz, which made it nice and trim on the wrist. And I wasn't wearing it that often, so I bought the quartz one on purpose because I knew that it would be stopping regularly on me. Because at the time, I was having trouble keeping two Rolexes running. And so I ended up buying that Omega, actually from my Rolex AD. They also sold Omegas at the time. I don't think they allow them to do that anymore. But I bought that from Colonial Jewelers here in Frederick, And I wore it for several years. I enjoyed that watch. And I wore it in rotation with the 18238 Date 8. And the problem I was having was the Date 8 would stop because it wasn't getting enough wrist time, because I was trying to keep my GMT Master running. So I was trying to give the GMT Master enough time to run and the Date 8 enough time to run and not stop. And I was not being successful. And so I finally threw up my hands and said, okay, I got the Omega Seamaster 120 quartz so that I could give the Date 8 more wrist time and make sure that it kept running, and I didn't have to worry about how much wrist time I gave the Omega because it wasn't going to stop no matter what, right? So that's what I did. I find it difficult to keep two automatic Rolexes running in rotation. I find it tricky. I mean, you can do it, but invariably, sometimes you forget to wear one, and you go to get it, and you pick it up, and it's stopped. Especially these ones with only 48-hour power reserves, the older ones. So there you go. Joey says, it's true, it's mandatory to wear a mask entering a store in New York City. It's facts and not trolling. Well, hopefully, people will just ignore that, and they'll just start going in without wearing masks. So hopefully they won't enforce that, and it'll all fall apart. And, stupid laws tend to get ignored, and people tend to not follow a stupid law. At least not for long. So we'll see if that all disintegrates and falls apart. Leon's in the house. With my Grand Seiko, I made sure Little Treasury did not put my name down on the warranty paperwork so that if I flipped it, then they could put their name on it. Leon in the house. Oh, was he was willing to do that? That was nice of them to do that for you. Probably not a good idea to mention that, though, in a public forum. You might get Steve in trouble for doing that for you. Let's see here. And She-Town says, watched Rain Man last night. Craig, do you remember which Rolex Tom Cruise wore? No, I don't, but that was a cool movie. That was absolutely a cool movie. By the way, we were talking about books the other day. Any of the Sidney Sheldon movies. I mean, If Tomorrow Comes was really good also. We talked about Master of the Game. So any of his stuff is all good. Let's see here. I know Tom Cruise in The Hustler, didn't he wear a Datejust? I think he might have wore a Datejust, or was it the Paul Newman character that wore one? But anyway, I think somebody was wearing a Datejust in that. I don't keep up with all these movies and what they're wearing. It gets difficult. Craig, what do you think about Panerai? I would pass on Panerai. I don't think it's an attractive watch, and I think there are much better options in both Rolex, Omega, and Grand Seiko. So I would stick in that area. And Greg's in the house. Why is Movado worse than Invicta at this time, Craig? Movado worse than Invicta? I don't know which is worse, but I would pass on either one of them. That would be a no-fly zone for me, either one of those. Eduardo, I heard from another YouTuber that Panerai made it so easy to copy their watches that ADs wouldn't take a Panerai without box and papers. That sounds like that might make sense. Megan's in the house. She says, hey, Craig, with 3 exclamation points. Well, hey, Megan. Absolutely. When are you going to Skype in and say hi and give us an update, Megan? You're always welcome, as is anybody in the chat. They're always welcome to Skype in and say hi, but you have to send me an email to get my Skype. David's in the house. If rotation of watch is 9F, a great option since it's grab and go. Absolutely. Absolutely. And also, if you want something that is spring drive, I think you want 72-hour power reserve minimum. Because, again, a 48-hour power reserve can get you into a dicey situation. I've been there, done that. And Joey's in the house. No masks, no service, and cannot enter store usually. security there. Well, hopefully more people will start doing it. When you start getting more and more resistance, Joey, it's called resistance. When you get people to resist the jackbooted thugs, then eventually the jackbooted thugs start, they just kind of throw up their hands and they give up, right? When you get enough people, as this thing progresses, you mark my words, you're going to have more and more people that are not going to put up with these draconian rules, and they're going to start standing up and they're going to start resisting, and a lot of these places will start backing down on these silly rules. Let's see, Tom Cruise with a day date with a champagne dial and Rain Man. Oh, cool. It was probably an 18238. Tim's in the house. Hi, Craig. I was wondering what you thought of GS SBGN009. Let's check it. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, okay. This is another one that is pretty stunning in person. I've actually seen this piece in person, and this is actually a very stunning piece and a heck of a deal. Let's see what the dimensions are on this thing. Okay, so it's a 40 millimeter by 12.2, so it's a little bit bigger than the 005. So if you don't mind a watch that's a little bit bigger than the 005, it's the same thickness as my 005. But it's a little bit bigger. Mine is 38.5 mils. This is 40 mils. So if you don't mind a 40 mil watch, then yeah, that's a stunner. That's an absolute stunner. And if you do decide to buy one, I would contact Steve and see if he wants to throw his hat in the ring. Maybe he wants to try to get involved in that deal. Let's see here. Hi, Craig. I was wondering what you... okay, I already read that one. Trashy Larry. Trashy Larry got trashy. Trashy Larry, you better behave or we're just going to block you. Okay, we don't put up with a lot of foolishness here. So you will get blocked. Okay, and by the way, members of the Wrench Gang, I want zero tolerance for trolls. Block them. Block the nasty trolls, okay? We don't need them. I don't care if we get down to 2 live viewers. I want to get rid of the freaking trolls out of this situation. I do not want trolls infiltrating our live streams. Lance is in the house. Craig, what is battery life in your 05? They say 3 years. So I don't know yet because I haven't had it 3 years, but I will report. When mine dies, I will tell you. Joey's in the house. Well, Craig. Wow, Craig, you're all about anarchy. Oh, what a rebel. Absolutely. You have to push back on these draconian, these jackbooted thugs, when they start, taking away your freedoms and so forth. At some point, you have to push back. You have to push back. Okay, so T-Town, Rain Man was from 1988, so it could have been 18038. That's possible. That's possible. And Eduardo says, bye, Trashy. And Lance says, Carlos used his wrench powers. Okay. Well, it looks like Trashy Larry was hidden. He was timed out by Carlos for 30 seconds, and he was hidden by David. So he's straight up been hidden. And Leon's in the house. I had a SBGN009. It was wonderful wearing watch. The 20 millimeters lugs made it good watch for straps. Okay, that's a good point. Eduardo, oh, by the way, I already got an offer on my Oyster Perpetual date, 1K over what I paid. Take it, man. Take the profit. Eduardo, take that profit. Why not? Keep hustling out there. Get the profit on that one and go ahead and buy something else and get the profit on that one. Keep doing it, man. I did it back in the old days when I was a younger man. I was hustling some watches. I got Paul Faupel was on the show here. He bought 3 or 4 watches from me back in the day, and he still has them. He kept them all. Greg Allen. Craig is a dictator. Let us get past trolls, please. Craig, what knives and stabbing weapons do you EDC? I carry the Sebenza, the Chris Reeve Sebenza. Let me grab that real quick. Matter of fact, I'll show you how I EDC it. Okay. Let's see here. All right, so here are my Bill's khakis with my Crop-A-Dile belt from down under from Australia. This is actually saltwater croc leather. Really beautiful belt. I've got a brown one and a black one. But anyway, here is the Chris Reeve Sebenza in a custom sheath. And I love a Sebenza. Beautiful, beautiful piece. Beautiful knife. Let's take a look here. Very nice piece. And I've been EDCing that for several years now. Several years. And it's right there, handy, always ready to go. And these are, of course, Bill's khakis. Bill's khakis, I highly recommend. Made in these United States of America. Okay, so put these back. Okay. All right, and I also carry a Scientist. It's a Victorinox Scientist, which is very rare, very hard to find. And I have a lot of photos of all of these kinds of things on my Flickr. So if you go to my website, CraigShipp.com, click on photos, there's a link to my Flickr account. And I literally have tens of thousands of photos there, including a bunch of photos on EDC items, on watches, on clothing, on tools, on camera gear, audio, all kinds, you name it. And of course, a lot of the same kind of things here on the YouTube channel. So, Tim's in the house. Shouldn't Trashy Larry be given a fair hearing first? Rules of natural justice. Actually, usually when there's treason involved, normally we just behead them. We take off their head, and then we tend to not have any more treason. That tends to squelch treason when you take their head off publicly. And Joey's in the house. Bottom line, I can't wait until this corona is over, but under Cuomo and de Blasio, it seems New York City will be the last place to live normal. Oh my gosh, yes. They're trying to, they're making this whole thing political. They're trying to use it to make sure that Trump doesn't get reelected, and it's all politics at this point. It's a total scam. The American public has been scammed. I thought it was a scam from the beginning. I was I didn't trust these people at all, and I certainly didn't trust the bureaucrats. I certainly didn't trust the so-called experts, the science. Oh, you don't trust the science? Hell no, I don't trust the science. They've been wrong at every turn, right? They don't have a very good track record. And so I questioned this thing from the very start. And now that a lot of data is coming out that shows that the emperor has no clothes, this whole thing turns out to have been a total scam. It's very, very sad. Very sad the damage that has been done to the small businesses, to the small business community. Very, very damaging. And by the way, suicide rates are way up. Suicide rates are way up. That is real. And Lance is in the house. He says that Tim McDonald trolls don't have the right to a hearing. There you go. David Williams. What link blade is that Sebenza? This is the large Sabenza, so I think it's a 3 7/8 inch. I think it's just under 4 inches. So it's a large Sabenza. So if you check their website, you'll see the exact size. I think it's 3 7/8. Nice, healthy blade. Triforce Riches in the house. Lance, you sound like a Nazi. There you go. I've been watching The Tudors. I've been watching the series, The Tudors, on Netflix. You know, I mean, you get sideways to the king, and it does not end well for you. So that's my inspiration. I'm the king now, right? And somebody gets sideways here, and it's not going to end well for them. Let's see here. We can't have a hearing for Trashy until Lamont returns as the bailiff. Eduardo, Craig, did you come to a conclusion as to who makes the best alligator straps? No, I have not, and nobody really has come forward to address that. I've asked people to come forward and say, hey, you know, I make great straps. I've even invited some people to come on that make straps and talk about their straps and so forth. And I hear crickets. So it's a real problem. It's a real problem. I will say I love this strap, and it may be Crop-A-Dile. I don't know. At this point, I just don't know because I don't see the pores on mine. But anyway, it might be Crop-A-Dile. If it is, it's a fantastic grade of Crop-A-Dile. It is good stuff. It might even be saltwater croc. It is good freaking stuff. So I am extremely pleased with this strap. And guess what? I also think this strap is going to last a long time. I don't think I'm going to have any problem with this strap falling apart like some people have said. I think it's going to hold up a nice long time. Craig, do you carry a Swiss Army knife? Yes, I carry the Scientist model. It's a Victorinox Swiss Army knife. It's called the Scientist. They are very hard to get. Very hard to get. They do come on eBay sometimes, but they sell for, you know, a couple $100 because they're very hard to get. It's called the Scientist. As a matter of fact, here's one right here that's been modified. This is a modified version of the Scientist. It has different scales on it. These have been switched out, right? And it has the same tools. It has the loop. It has the straight out Phillips. Okay, so this is actually a Scientist that's been modified. This has the blade. This has the multi-tool. And what's different on this modification is on this side here, it has scissors, whereas an actual Scientist has a corkscrew here, has a corkscrew. And this one, whoever modified this, put scissors on it. A friend of mine actually bought this and gave it to me because he knew I liked the Scientist. But what's neat about the Scientist is it's so thin, it's so trim, you can carry it in your pocket all the time, and it's like, you're very comfortable to carry. So I carry an actual Scientist. This is a modified Scientist. But in my pants pocket over there in that same pair of khakis, trust me, I have a Scientist. And it's been there I've been carrying it for probably 40 years, maybe longer than. I think I got it in 1978, and I've been carrying it ever since. I don't lose things. People say, oh, I lose my knives, I lose this, I lose that. I don't lose stuff. I take care of my stuff. So, and if somebody steps to me and wants to take something, it usually doesn't end well for them. One guy in Baltimore, I had to leave him there. It didn't end well for him at all. He was a mess when I left. Okay, so there you go. Let's catch up here. Knives, Craig, cool beans. There you go. Megan in the house. I wonder what she carries. Damaging to business. Mr. Bezos doesn't know what man, the big businesses are doing great. One guy posted on Facebook. I thought it was funny. He says, okay, I got an idea. He says, let's close Costco, Home Depot, Lowe's, Amazon for 3 months, and then let's let the little guys have their turn. Right? I thought that was creative. That's a good idea. Let's close them all down for 3 months and let the little guy have their turn. Right? So there you go. In Jaden's house in Pennsylvania, they've been caught fabricating death tolls by inflating the deaths at long-term care. Absolutely they do. Anybody that dies, they claim they died of COVID because they get money for it. Craig, would the tutors wear a tutor? That's a good question. I hope not. Kevin's in the house. I would stick to genuine GS straps. There you go. I like this strap. This is nice. Lance, most tutors are pretty ugly, but the Tudor Ranger is very cool. Yeah, I'd pass on that. Kevin's in the house. I'm forced to go third party, but have not been overly impressed, but sure paid a wallop. Okay. Triforce, doesn't the Ranger remind you of a poor man's Explorer? Okay. And Craig's really Spartan. Okay. Let's see. All their models are pretty much cheap version of Rolex, Kevin. The Pelagos is interesting, though. A small version of that would be great. Lamont in the house. Lamont's in the house. Craig, you scientist for real? Okay, that's why you got them pens. Absolutely. And Lance is in the house. The Explorer is more refined than the Ranger. And Carlos is hanging out. He says, Kevin, more or less to me, I offered my son to purchase him a Ranger as high school graduation gift, but he refused and preferred a Tissot T-Touch that I had. Okay, there you go. Do we have any stats on what this season's flu deaths are? Oh, that's 0. Nobody's died from the flu. What are you, crazy? They've all died from COVID. There's nobody dying from the flu this year. They don't get any money for that. Let's be realistic here. Okay, Carlos is in the house. I heard that you are not black anymore as you're going to vote for Trump following your dad's orders. And David Williams is in the house. He says, my GS strap and deployment are great. You might share the photos. Yeah, absolutely. Let's pull up those photos. Let's see if I can pull up those photos here. That stunner alert. There's going to be a stunner alert when I get these photos up. I'm warning you all in advance. There's going to be a stunner alert. Stunner alert. Okay. What we're going to do, I'm spooling these photos up here. What we're going to do is we're going to show you how stunning an 005 is and can be. We're going to go through all these photos here and let you all know why I purchased an 005. Look how stunning that piece is. Look at that piece. Just take a close look at that piece. Look at the shape of the case. Look at the shape of the lugs. Look at the signed crown. Look at the brushing on the case. Look at the details. You don't get a beautiful emblem like that on the back of a Rolex case. You don't get a beautiful lion like that. Beautiful solid end links. Look at the detailing on that. Look at the detailing on that puppy. That's when I got it. That's the day I got it, folks. There's my 231 thrown off to the side, literally thrown down onto the counter so I could put on that 005. There you go. The 005. Look at that. Check that out. Check that starburst on the dot. Look at that. Can you imagine? Look at the light reflecting off that minute hand. Try doing that with a Rolex, folks. Look at that. Look at that star of light off the end of that second hand. Look at that perfect star of light coming off of that second hand. Try to do that with a Rolex. You don't get the detailing. The polish is not to this high a level, folks. I hate to tell you. I hate to break the news to you guys. This thing is stunning, okay? Absolutely, positively, absolutely stunning. Look at the shape of that case, folks. Look at that. Look at the light coming off of that bezel. Look at that. Okay? You're going to see a perfect star of light like that, multiple stars of light coming off the side of a Rolex? No, I don't think so. Not going to happen. Not going to happen, folks. Look, another star of light coming off the end of that second hand. Here we're getting close. There's David's watch. Look at that. There's David's watch and my watch together. He's got those young hands. He's a young man still. There's David's watch on the strap, on the leather stunner, on the Crop-A-Dile strap, deployant buckle. And there's me going to New York. You see what watch I wore going to New York? Brooks Brothers suit. There you go. Headed to New York with my Colonel Littleton bag next to me there. Colonel Littleton bag. That's the last photo in the series, folks. That's the 005. That's a stunner. That's a stunner alert in the house. Let's see here. David Williams, where'd you get that strap and the point for the 005? Do tell. Do tell. As long as get them backwoods, y'all, I'm good. Okay. Don't matter, President. Okay. David's in the house. Interesting that few to none 005s available in the U.S. on Chrono 24 and eBay. They're okay, Lance, but Apple has the formula nailed. Okay. Kevin's in the house. I need to check out. Have a good evening, folks. Starting my Monday here down under. Kevin in the house, taking a break. I don't blame him. Kyle's in the house. He said nice picks. And Tim says, lovely 005. David, have you sold it yet? No, David's still got his available, and that's a heck of a deal with a whole package. He's got a complete package going on. And Carlos is in the house. He says bye to Kevin. Lance says the 005 looks a lot like an Explorer 2. I think that GS was inspired by Rolex when making the watch. Absolutely, it looks a lot like an Explorer 2, but even better, they take it up to a whole nother level as far as the quality. It's amazing. And Buserv says, Craig, do you like the white date wheel on the GS GMT? Yeah, I think it's stunning. I think it makes it pop. I think it makes it readable, and it matches the white lume spots. You know, it has the lume at each marker that's white. You know, when it's illuminated at night, of course, it looks green or green-blue or whatever, but it looks, you know, in normal light, it looks white. So it picks that up. They really nailed it. They really got it right. They got that watch right. That's why I bought it. I didn't even need the watch, really, when I bought it. I just saw that watch and I said, wow, that thing is amazing. And Steve set one aside, and when I saw it, I said, okay, we got to do a deal. So we went in the back room, and I tossed him around a little bit. He's a big guy. He's strong, but I got the jump on him, right? When he went in the office, I got the jump on him, and I was able to persuade him to do a pretty good deal for me. So there you go. And this time when I bought the 002, he knew what was coming, and he was kind of ready for me, but I still got a deal. So there you go. Even though he was ready, I was still able to get a deal. Let's see. And David says he's not in a rush to sell it. He might be falling in love with that watch again. He might be falling in love with that 005 all over again. That happens sometimes. Craig, do you have any experience with aluminum Apple Watches? I don't like them. I've seen a couple of them. I much prefer the stainless steel version. That's the one I bought, was a Series 1 stainless steel with the link bracelet. I love that combo with the link bracelet. That bracelet is very comfortable, very easy to take links in and out. It works great. That is a fantastic combo. And David Williams is in the house. At Joey, purchased GS strap on eBay, new, deployant from Little Treasury Jewelers. There you go. That was a good move. It's a good package all the way around. Okay, so what else do we have going on, folks? What else do we have going on? Let me see if I have a picture of the scientist. Um, Give me a moment here to try to figure this out. And scientist. Da, 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 da. So I got an album came up that says 10 best knives, and the scientist should be in here. Okay. And let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see here. I've given away a few of these knives. I still have some of them left. Oh, there's the scientist. There she blows. There is the scientist right there. Right there. Whoops. Oh, really zoomed in there. All right. Whoops. Let's leave it like that. Let's leave it like that. And that, what's that, an Enduro 4? Is that what that is? That's Spyderco? I think it's an Enduro. But anyway, that I use in the kitchen. That's always in the kitchen, that blue-handled knife. And then the scientist is in my pocket at all times. And let me see. Let's see what else we got here. Back to the album. Oh, and we already showed this piece in an earlier show. This knife here. That's a goodie. That's a goodie. And that's made by Kershaw. That is a CT. What does that stand for again? Where it's a zero tolerance. That's right, zero tolerance. It's owned by the same company that makes Kershaw. So, and I think, I don't think the limited edition CT is in here. No, it's not. This is the standard. I also have the limited edition one that has the special composite blade. Okay, that is super cool. So yeah, some cool stuff there. Let's see, Craig. Okay, I already read that. Keeping an open mind, RE the 05 will sell to a quality buyer. I agree. That's right. Only a subscriber. Don't sell to anyone that's not a subscriber. The heck with them. Carlos, your son is wise. I too have a Tissot, a quartz white dial for grab and go. View Service says, Craig, our Coach wallets, shitters. The old ones back in the day when they were made in New York, they made some good stuff. Coach made some good stuff. They made some good purses, female for women. They made a lot of good stuff back in the day when they were making their name for themselves. But that would be like the late 70s, early 80s, like around that time frame. And then they sold out and started making a lot of stuff overseas and started making a lot of crap. So yeah, that's how that worked out. So keep an eye out for the vintage stuff that's made in the USA, that's in mint condition. You might do good. Let's see. Lance is in the house. Craig, what do you think about Mont Blanc watches? Are they any good? I would pass on the Mont Blanc watches. Will's in the house. Damn, those blades are awesome. Eduardo says, Craig, sent you a picture of my Datejust on black leather strap. All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look at that. Absolutely. Time check. Time check. Let me make this full screen here so we can see this. Let me go zoom in a little bit. Just give me a second. I'll get this up on the screen. Yeah, I think that works. I think it works fine. I mean, I think it would work great with a dark brown also. But that looks good. Yeah. Yeah, that absolutely. It's probably super comfortable on wrist. Looks good. 2 thumbs up for that kit. 2 thumbs up for that. Trashy Larry is back in the house. How did he get back in the house? I thought we got rid of him. Let's see. Tim is in the house. Craig, I see you got a great deal on the 005 because you had that knife with you. Well, I'm a pretty intimidating guy. When I step to somebody, even if it's a big guy, a lot of times they acquiesce. And let's see here. Trashy Larry is timed out by Carlos. Let me see here. Let me tap on this. We'd probably just have to get rid of that guy. Can't we just hide him? Can't a wrench member just hide him from the channel permanently? Why does this guy keep coming back? Let's see. I use the Kershaw Dividend, USA made and 420 stainless blade. Cool. Okay, good move. Kershaw makes some good stuff. I like the Kershaw Leak for a nice trim, easy to carry EDC knife. Carlos, Craig, before was a chat from Crappy asking in what circumstances you would prefer a knife versus a handgun for self-defense. I assume he is still in your hidden list. Okay, so here's the thing. Believe it or not, a good tactical knife, you have a significant advantage close in over a gun. You can do damage very fast with a tactical knife before they really have a chance to do much with that gun. So, yeah, if you talk to most self-defense experts and most experts in hand-to-hand combat and things like that, for close-in situation, they are very concerned with a knife. A knife is a very menacing tool and can do a lot of damage very quickly before you might even have a chance to do something with that gun. You'd be surprised. And there are videos on YouTube from experts that talk about this sort of thing. But yeah, if you're good with a knife and it's relatively close quarters situation, sometimes the knife can absolutely trump the gun. So that's an interesting thing. Interesting question too. Yeah. Let's see here. And there's a really cool scene in, I think it's in, is it in The Magnificent Seven? When the one guy's like a knife guy, like really good with the knife. And who was it? Darn, that actor, he's great. The one that was really good with the knife. Darn, why can't I remember his name? Old age is terrible, folks. But anyway, there's a scene in there where the guy challenges him. And he's going to draw, and the other guy has the knife, right? So the one guy has the gun, and the other guy has the knife. And they stand like, 30 or 40 feet apart, right? I mean, they're not even close to each other. And the one guy, the knife guy, I think he has the knife stashed behind his neck back here, right? He grabs the knife and throws it and hits the guy right in the heart and basically kills him before the guy can get the gun up to shoot him. So the guy with the knife actually won the quick draw battle. Of course, that's Hollywood, right? But, could possibly happen in real life too. But that was pretty wild. Magnificent Seven, check it out. Yul Brynner and a whole bunch of other really, Charles Bronson, just a super all-star cast. And what was the guy's name with the knife? Darn, he's a great actor too. I might think of it later. Okay. Eduardo, how did you get that date just for only $1,800? I could never find one at that price. Never say never. Just go around to you're going to have to buy it probably from a pawn shop or something like that. You're probably not going to be able to buy it online and get a super deal because you got too much competition, right? But maybe a private seller in your area. maybe somebody selling on Craigslist, something like that. Maybe a pawn shop, something like that. You might be able to get a deal. The Leak is more stylish than the Dividend, but the Dividend has a better grip, uses higher grade of steel, and is cheaper than the Leak. Okay, there you go. Hogue is a solid made USA knife brand. Okay. Triforce Rich, wear a Tudor for close situations. The smell will cause them to become dazed. There you go. Tim's in the house. Do you remember the scene from Crocodile Dundee? Now that's a knife. Yeah, I've got that knife. You want to see it? All right, I'll get the knife. You want a knife? I'll get the knife. And then we're going to have to wrap this puppy up because I'm getting hungry, okay? So do you want a knife? So you say you have a knife. Now that's a knife. That's the Crocodile Dundee knife. That's the actual knife he used in the movie. Well, the same company made it. There you go. Very hard to get. Very hard to find. Now, I did some modifications on this sheath. I put this on to tie it around the leg and added this Velcro to the back and then the smooth Velcro so that I can literally adjust this up and down. So I did some modifications on this, but that's it. That's the unit. There you go. Okay, let's see. At last resort, wait, I know. Yeah, at Lance, local pawn shop who knew nothing about the value of vintage Rolex with box and papers. There you go. Okay, yeah, that's exactly how you get a watch like that. In Cheetown, I know a gentleman who was a soldier in the Jamaican military. He told me that someone pulling a knife on him was a bigger threat than someone pulling a pistol on him. Yes, it can be. Lance, as a last resort, you could use your 231 as brass knuckles. Absolutely. Carlos, Craig, have you learned to use a knife for self-defense? Yes, I had a lot of self-defense training when I was younger, when I was a younger man, and some of those things you kind of remember, some of the moves and all that you have to do, the reverse grip and everything, and you can do a lot of damage real quick with a high-quality tactical knife like that Sebenza. Absolutely. Okay, Triforce Rich, Carlos' son, has been making many girls happy. Carlos's son has been making many girls happy in San Diego. Uh-oh. And by the way, part of that self-defense thing is you want to do a lot of forearm exercises. Carlos is a big guy, strong guy, but that's the thing. You strengthen those forearms and the grip muscles and all of that, the different exercises you do that are also good for tennis, by the way, helps a lot with self-defense. Because it's good to have a very strong grip, because if you're holding that knife, for example, you don't want that knife to come loose and rotate in your hand and do nasty things and end up cutting yourself or whatever. So it's all part and parcel of the thing. Let's see here. We're going to get through these comments real quick, and then we're going to wrap this puppy up because I'm getting hungry. Let's see here. Craig, do you go to the mall with that giant knife, or is it your steak knife? No, I don't carry this big knife unless I'm hiking in the woods or something like that, or somewhere, No, I carry the Sebenza, though. I carry the Sebenza all the time. It's on my hip all the freaking time, and nobody ever says a word about it. It's never an issue. Let's see. And Lance, that's not a knife. That's a sword. And James Caan in El Dorado or Rio Grande with John Wayne. Okay, those are good ones too. Absolutely, those are good ones. But that's not the guy I was thinking of in Magnificent Seven. It's a James Coburn. Coburn. James Coburn. Yeah, I think that's him. Let me pull up Magnificent Seven. Okay, pull this up here. James Coburn, I think it was him. Let me see. Okay, here's the 2016 film. No, I want the original film. Gosh. Magnificent Seven. Let me search cast here and see if I can find the original one, for gosh sakes. Give me a second. I hate it when they have these remakes come up. These lousy remakes. Here we go. Full cast and crew, 1960. All right, give me a second. This loads in here. I think it's James Coburn. Okay, so here we go. Here's the cast. Yul Brynner, Eli Wallach, Steve McQueen. I don't know this guy, Horst. Charles Bronson, of course. Robert Vaughn. Right here it is. James Coburn. Yeah, he's the one with the knife. He's a great character actor. Great freaking actor. James Coburn. Yeah. Talk about Mr. Cool, you know. That's another one you guys have to watch. The original Magnificent Seven from 1960. That's a good one. David Williams, it's written in Nevada statute that concealed machetes are illegal. There you go. That's why you don't conceal it. Triforce Rich, Craig, would you consider marrying an 80-plus-year-old woman who had no one in her will and a net worth of over $10 million? If she was fun to spend time with, yeah. I mean, that's not that much older than me. I mean, I'm 62. So, yeah, if she was a fun time, sure. What the heck? Nothing wrong with that. Eduardo's in the house. Craig, do you have a permit for those hands of yours? I probably should apply for one because they're pretty solid, you know. There's that. Lance is in the house. All of the inherited money would be used to buy Bitcoin oh yeah, we can marry Lance off to that lady. Absolutely, he can take the money. He'll be a gold digger. They'll call him a gold digger. What do they call the men? Gigolo, right? Remember that movie Dirty Rotten Scoundrels with Steve Martin? That's a good one to watch too. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels with Steve Martin. They're a couple of gigolos. It's good. Cameron's in the house. What's your opinion of the Grand Seiko SBG V238G, Craig, currently available in the UK, brand new from an authorized GS dealer for a 50% discount, reduced from 4,500 pounds to 3,000. Wow. Well, let's pull that up. SBG V238. And then we're going to have to wrap this up. I'm getting hungry. I start getting mean when I get hungry. Gets to the point where I might hurt somebody. You know what I'm saying? I get mean. Oh my gosh, that's a stunner. Well, yeah. If you can grab that stunner for $3,000, I'm not showing it. If you can grab that stunner for $3,000, grab and go, man. That's a stunner. I've seen that one in person at Steve's. He had that one. That is a stunner. That's a grab and go, man. That's a grab and go, Cameron. Do not pass go. Grab and go. Listen to me. What Fatso Archie Luxury did to Craig a few weeks ago is unacceptable. Well, that's kind of a nasty group over there. That's kind of a nasty group. Tim's in the house. Magnificent Seven was based on the Seven Samurai, which is a classic. There you go. Eduardo agreed, but Archie's a slave to his viewers, so what can he really do? There you go. Archie Luxury is allergic to any watch that costs less than $5,000. Well, that's his problem. You should fight Archie with those fists. Now, I wouldn't want to hurt the boy. He'd probably have a heart attack, for God's sakes. I wouldn't want to kill the man. Carlos is in the house. Yes, that movie is very fun. I love Michael Caine and Steve Martin. Yeah, Carlos in the house. And Eduardo says Archie is allergic to being a decent human being. Hungry, yes. And that Grand Seiko isn't too bad. Even better on a leather strap, Eduardo. Archie is so unprofessional. And so, yeah, that would be a grab and go on that 238 at $3,000. That would be a grab and go. All right, I'm going to wrap this puppy up, wrap it up. So please click subscribe and click the little bell so you'll get a notification. And hopefully we'll do this again. Thanks, everybody, for watching.